Welcome to The Life Changers. My name is George Jordan. The Life Changers is a program that examines the research being conducted at Atlantic Canadian universities, and it reports back to you on the lives that have been changed as a result of that research. The Life Changers. In this episode of The Life Changers, we pay a visit to the Atlantic Cancer Research Institute. It's very close to the University of Moncton in Moncton, New Brunswick. In fact, they have a great deal of cooperation and interplay between the two institutions. On the one hand, you have people who are actual clinicians working with people who are suffering from cancer. On the other hand, genetic researchers who are looking at the cellular makeup of not just cancerous cells, but healthy cells. And that's the story we're going to tell you on this episode of The Life Changers. We call this episode Targeting and Killing Cancer Cells.
The University of Moncton has identified since 2001 health as one of its main strategic development areas. We have over 50 of our professors that work in health-related issues, and our health sciences faculty is one of the largest on campus with approximately 1,000 students.
We're going to be finding more relevant targets in the future, so genes that are more key to the cancerous process. We're going to have more selective tools to affect the function of these cancerous genes, so that when this treatment is proposed to a patient, we'll have something that is effective, very specific, so limiting side effects is always very important, and hopefully by selecting the patients more appropriately, we'll have hit the right target.
We use cancerous tissues in comparison with healthy tissues to derive actually a list of cancer-causing elements. And once we have this list, we can then play around through genetic engineering with healthy cells that we have here in our laboratory, which creates a cell model, and then we can start tweaking the different genetic elements to observe if certain elements are in fact responsible for cancer processes.
If I do not contribute to research, I will keep diagnosing the same disease over and over again and watching some of these patients not do as well as other patients. And I will keep wondering why. People like Gilles Robichaud and all the other researchers working on cancer are trying to answer that question. Why do some patients do well and other patients do not well? At this point, I cannot tell them.
This episode, the Brain Repair Center in Halifax. Dr. Ivar Mendez is chair of the center. He's a professor and head of neurosurgery at the Queen Elizabeth II Health Sciences Center and at Dalhousie University School of Medicine. Recently, we met in an operating room and I asked him about the Brain Repair Center. The Skills Center for Health Sciences is what exactly?
This place is a training center for all healthcare professionals that fall under the umbrella of Capital Health, Dalhousie, and IWK, and any individual users from outside that wish to participate as well.
This is a line that the Department of Fisheries and Oceans from Bedford Institute primarily has been monitoring for the last 30 years. It starts at Halifax Harbor and goes all the way out at a sort of 45-degree angle to the continental shelf. It's over 200 kilometers out there. But we're going to put a receiver every kilometer so that anything that moves north and south across that line will be detected if it's got a tag on it. And also the line will give us synchronous data about what's happening in terms of temperature and currents out there. There's a special kind of knowledge that's associated with being able to make these things and to use them effectively, to tag the animals, to manage the data, to turn that managed data into legal frameworks, and the people who are going to be in the best position to do that are the people who come to Dalhousie, because this is where the center is going to be.
The Institute of Biomedical Engineering, IBME, on the Fredericton campus of the University of New Brunswick, is one of the leading research institutes in biomedical engineering in Canada. Founded in 1965, it's one of the oldest research institutes to be solely dedicated to the field of biomedical engineering.
You can see this individual, Jesse Sullivan, has electrodes on his chest, and the information that's being transferred through those electrodes is exactly the same information that would have been transferred to the missing limb. Jesse lost both arms in a power line accident about 4 years ago, and has proven to be an incredible person to participate in all these trials with us. Has given so much of his time.
Operate an ROV unit at sea next to multi-million-dollar subsea equipment. It's quite time-consuming, and it's also a very valuable skill asset. Often what they'll only see is a display here for just the arm. Just the motion of the arm, the operating of the arm. Often that's all they'll see from what they're trying to do next to a large subsea structure, and a visual representation of the radar unit to give them some idea of what's ahead. But we've added an extra element for training. They can actually get to see their operation of the ROV, what it would actually do in relation to manipulating the arm.
In this edition of The Life Changers, we're going to meet a group of people who listen to the trees.
We're the Mount Allison Dendrochronology Lab, and dendrochronology, for those of people who don't know, just means tree rings, or tree ring analysis. Because we're the only tree ring lab that is working in Atlantic Canada, anybody who kind of dabbles in trees or can use trees from an ecological perspective, an archaeological perspective, any kind of work that is doing with the environment, that they think the trees can relate something with the environments, we often get a call from them. And we have a very open door policy. We have many students that are coming in, so we share grad students from Memorial University in Newfoundland, from Dalhousie, from Acadia, from St. FX, UNB. We have students coming from all over the place, some from the French schools, U de Moncton and Shippagan campus, using the abilities where they're looking at a bogs in Shippagan, or looking at climates in Labrador, and wanting to use the tree ring analysis and the expertise we have.
We are here right now at our Port campus. We are probably at the beginning, if you like, of a new culture and arts district here, and we are in many ways the anchor tenant of this whole development, and we will see tremendous growth in terms of creativity, culture and arts within this area.
The important thing today in doing design is actually doing good design research. So I encourage my students, and actually in all of my assignments, we actually get out of the classroom, because design doesn't really not happen in the classroom, it actually happens in the field, and understanding how people interact with products. So for example, we're doing a waste recovery system, and these are the systems in the public areas where you're putting your recyclables, where you're putting your cans, where you're putting your organic waste. And we actually went to the Halifax market, and also went around Halifax to look at the different systems that are available. And from observing these systems, the students get an immediate feedback of what are the problems with the design of products, why aren't people recycling properly, and why there's so much contamination in these waste diversion bins that actually the recyclables can't be used because there's too much contamination.